The tariffs are working. The tariffs are working.
If you're 50 years old and have a 401k, you've lost about $74,000 in the past 3 months. Does that feel like it's working?
No, I've lost more than that.
I made this shirt right after the mugshot came out because it's one of the most, important photos of all time.
Yeah. Why is it important?
It just shows you how corrupt the system is, that he could be, arrested and shown in front of everyone, like in this embarrassing manner on totally trumped up charges.
Do you feel that it would be government overreach to try and take or limit people's ability to have firearms?
I don't feel that way. It is that way. Yeah, it would be. The Second Amendment guarantees our right to keep and bear arms.
Would it be government overreach to enter someone's home, a U.S. citizen, without a search warrant?
Absolutely. Wouldn't you?
That's allowed to happen right now. Donald Trump has ordered that people ICE agents can enter homes without a warrant.
He has?
Yes.
I don't know.
Is that government overreach?
You're government overreach.
What are your thoughts on the deportations that have happened so far?
Well, I like to call them homecomings because you came to our country, we paid for it, we put you up, we fed you, and now we're sending you home where you came from. It should be a celebration.
A lot of these people are being sent to El Salvador, even if they're not from El Salvador.
To me, I don't care where they get sent to. They don't belong here.
Do you like that he's kind of trying to influence universities and what's taught in universities?
Yes. Yes.
Are you behind that as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The pressure he's putting on Harvard to kind of change the way they're doing things?
Yes. Yeah.
Did it seem strange a little bit that he started Trump University and then had to pay $25 million because it was deemed a fraud, but he wants to tell other universities how to teach?
I'm like a huge Trump supporter, so I don't have an issue.
One thing about Maga, they will cheer for the destruction of something that they claim to love. If you're here illegally, you don't deserve due process. How do you know they're here illegally without due process? You just know? Like how you know someone is trans, which leads to little cisgender girls getting harassed by old men at soccer meets? They've committed a crime. They're criminals. What crime? They're here illegally. See? We have circled back around to how do you know they're here illegally without due process? Y'all are cheering for all this chaos in the traffic circle while claiming that nobody loves a roundabout more than you. We have seen them arrest people who did not come here the right way. We have seen them mistakenly arrest citizens. Y'all say, we don't care if you come here, you just got to do it the right way. We have seen people who have done it the right way, and they still get arrested. And y'all say, well, they must have done something. How do you know without due process? The people who have been screaming, never trust the government, sure do trust the fuck out of the government now. That's weird. Y'all claim to love the Constitution and then cheer when this administration just wipes their ass with the Constitution. Y'all are doing nothing but showing them that they can do whatever the fuck they want. And now ICE can enter your home without a warrant, and y'all are cheering. You are showing the government that they can do whatever the fuck they want. You are showing the government that they can enter your home without a warrant, and y'all are cheering, saying, this is exactly what I voted for. Biden campaigned on student debt relief, and some people voted for him for that, and he tried what he could, and federal judges struck it down, and y'all just cheered, saying this is exactly how America is supposed to work. And a bunch of y'all voted for Trump because y'all wanted to get rid of all the illegal aliens, and he is doing whatever he can, wiping his ass with the Constitution to do what y'all wanted him to do, and federal judges striking it down just like they did with Biden. And y'all like, this ain't how America is supposed to work. Y'all say y'all love the Constitution. Meanwhile, y'all are covering the Constitution in y'all's cream corn-filled turds. And you call yourselves patriots.
So Biden signed an executive order reducing drug prices. And then Trump signed an executive order reversing Biden's executive order. And then signed his own executive order reducing pharmaceutical drug costs. Do I have that right?
I'm going to say the meanest thing I could possibly say to these Trump voters posting self-pity videos because they're suffering due to his policies. Now, I don't do personal attacks, so I'm just going to tell you the truth, because sometimes the truth hurts. You don't get to complain. You definitely don't get to complain about the lack of leadership or ideas coming from Democrats, because we didn't do this to us. You did this to us. If you and I are driving down the interstate together and you reach over and grab the wheel and you steer us into a 200-foot deep ravine full of lava and sharks because you think big interstate is corrupt and you thought it would be funny to shake things up, when I scream at you as lava sharks eat our legs, you don't get to be mad at me for being mad at you, because it was my idea to stay on the interstate, and it was your idea that ruined everything for both of us. You don't get to ask what Democrats would do differently with the economy. You don't get to ask what Democrats are doing to help us right now. Those are 2024 questions, but we're in 2025 consequences. This era of the United States right now, this is about the president you elected, the cabinet secretaries your Senate confirmed, the cowering Republicans you elected to obey him in Congress, and all of the very real consequences resulting. We told you these things were going to happen and we gave you lots of warnings, but you grabbed the wheel anyway. If you want to know what Democrats would do differently, look at the track record going back to the Great Depression. Economic growth, job growth, wage growth, retirement plan growth, all of these things have been better under Democratic leadership than Republican. If you like these things, you vote for Democrats because it's what Democrats do. I don't care if you like the Democratic candidate. I don't even care if you understand how the policies work. And I'm not going to ask you if you believe me, because every chart and every graph that matters at the highest level for the middle class proves me right over the past 100 years. I'm only going to ask you that over the next year and a half, you come to grips with this fact so you don't make the same mistake again.
I really want to know, those that are MAGA supporters, how educated are you? Because, you know, the theory is the majority of the red states have the lowest educated individuals. Isn't that interesting? Meaning, did you complete high school? Did you complete college? And did you actually understand research and how you actually form your own individual opinion?
This is as big as it gets. When they write the history books, there will be a chapter right in the middle. It will be titled The Day Everything Changed, and that chapter will tell this story. The day when the President of the United States of America, on behalf of 350 million Americans, wrote a strongly worded press release to the pharmaceutical industry, asking them to voluntarily choose to lower prices on prescription medications. Because Americans are the best, the most favored people. Wait, you're not impressed? Would it help if I told you he blamed foreign countries, not the $4 trillion pharmaceutical industry, for charging us more? Would it help if I told you pharmaceutical stocks actually rose after Trump's announcement? Because everyone invests in companies when they're about to lose more money, right? Hey, for real, I just have one question. When are his followers going to realize they're being scammed? Trump is an NPC programmed by the Heritage Foundation to sugarcoat and spoon-feed bullshit to his followers like he's Mary fucking Poppins. Spoonful of xenophobia helps the bullshit go down. Trump does this over and over and over again for exactly 3 reasons. 1, because it doesn't require him to do any real work. 2, because it protects the shareholders from the middle class. And 3, because his supporters don't know enough to know that they're the ones being fleeced.
Hey, Maga. In particular, if you happen to be a Christian nationalist, huele bicho. Do you hear those agonizing sounds? Do you hear them? Because that's precisely what you self-righteous and inhumane tools just voted for. And do you know what those sounds ultimately signify? They signify your history. They signify your cruelty. They signify your inhumanity. They signify your hate. Those are the sounds of all the unnecessary pain and suffering that you have been bringing onto other fellow human beings pretty much during your entire existence. Now, let me ask you this. Since today is Sunday and you are on your way to your churches, how do you really think your version of God feels about all of this? Is this what he really wants from you? Didn't he command you to love your neighbors as you love yourselves? And if so, is this how much love you have for yourselves? Because according to your own Jesus, what you do to the least of this is also what you're doing to him. Stay woke, mi gente, and don't be like any of these MAGA pendejos and huele bichos.
I got a fuck around and find out story. So I'm in Walgreens, and there's this guy in front of me who's all decked out in his MAGA gear. The one with the daddy's home, you know, with the fist in the air. Anyway, he's there with his MAGA hat on and his Trump shirt, and he's getting his prescriptions. So the lady behind the counter that's helping him lets him know, "Sir, I've noticed that you have TRICARE as your insurance, and I'm just letting you know you should be getting a letter in the mail that we are no longer going to be contracted through them at the end of this month." He said, what do you mean? We got Selfridge right down the road. What do you mean you ain't going to be contracted through no veterans insurance? And she said, sir, there are a whole lot of administrative changes that are going to be going on, and Walgreens, the company, is unsure of what contracts through the VA, what contracts for the military are going to be revised or pulled. She says, now, I'm sure there are other pharmacies such as CVS or mail-in pharmacies such as Express Scripts that will still honor your insurance. But as far as Walgreens, we will not. And boy, did this man get so mad. He didn't understand what was going on. So she broke down to him what was happening. She's like, you know, he's talking about getting rid of VA hospitals. He's getting rid of possibly disability for veterans. Or putting a 10-year max cap on that, and it's going to be an extremely hard process to even be approved for that. So this guy, he's just like staring at her, and he goes, well, shit, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, you know, the only thing that I live off of right now is my VA and my Social Security. And she just kind of looked at him, and I looked at him, and I said, they're going to be taking your Social Security too. And I looked down at his shirt, and I looked back up at him. I said, you know, from one veteran to another, Daddy doesn't give a fuck if you have your medicine or not. He really doesn't. He doesn't care that you served. He deferred his freaking draft 4 times because his feet hurt. I mean, what do you expect from the guy? Well, Republicans are supposed to be all about their military. I said, this is not about Republicans and Democrats, sir. There's Republicans, there's Democrats, and then there's Maga. And I said, and unfortunately, you're all a part of the Maga. I said, hey, you voted for him. You fucked around, and now you're gonna find out. And I kind of feel bad because his face was just so like this was the first time he ever heard this. This was the first time he was ever hearing that as a veteran, his benefits, his security is being threatened. That his Social Security is being threatened. Like, where the fuck are these people staying? Where are they at? Like, living under a rock? I don't get it. But anyway, that's my story.
Here's your reminder that all that MAGA merchandise, including that shitty red cap on top of your head, was made in China, you fucking hypocrites.
I just want to very quickly clear the air for all the libs out there. Myself and the other maggots are very happy that we voted for Trump. I'm very proud of him, actually. Look, you may not like maggots, but he united us. He united us against science. He united us against common sense. And he especially united us against prosperity. I didn't vote for things to get better. I voted so that the libs who made me insecure on TV would feel pain. Am I feeling pain? Sure. But all that matters is that we're all going down together. That is the American dream. At the end of the day, I don't want to be right. I want to be cruel. And I don't know, I think that's really beautiful.
Look, they don't regret voting for Trump, and they never will. The only thing that they will ever regret is that Trump hurt them the same way he's hurting everyone else.
Hey, Elon Musk ass sniffers. Remember last year when you guys were freaking out about Kamala Harris's proposed unrealized capital gains tax on those with a net worth of $100 million or more who were avoiding paying income taxes by taking out loans against their assets from the bank and living off of those instead? Because you guys said it would crash the stock market and put everybody's retirement plan, 401k, pensions in jeopardy? Where are you guys now that Trump's tariffs have done exactly that? Crash the stock market and put everybody's 401k, pensions, and retirement in jeopardy. At least with Kamala Harris's proposed tax on a very small proportion of the population, which, spoiler alert, wouldn't have included you or me, we would have collected billions of dollars from the ultra-wealthy to spend on the American people. With Trump's tariffs, everybody's taxes goes up by about $830 per person, and I don't think that number includes what the retaliatory tariffs are going to cost us.
Just a heads up, when they leave the MAGA movement, they're going to do it quietly and they won't tell you about it. Because they're all going to be embarrassed and ashamed of themselves. So yeah, just a PSA.
I want to preface what you're about to see by noting I am not looking for sympathy or validation here. I was just expressing some remorse and some grief and some sorrow. Because I think it can help a lot of people to kind of process through that. A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that. There are moments where I'm just overcome with grief and regret. Not anger, not rage, but just grief and regret over having voted for Trump in 2016. And I get that I've come a long way. I get all that. That doesn't take away those moments. It does not take away the regret, the guilt. I mean, I could work through it, and I do that regularly for a lot of different issues, not just who I voted for in 2016, but I just wanted to document this because this is one of those moments. I just saw the Kamala Harris ad talking about how she is the president for all the people and how Trump has a history of wanting to withhold aid from people who didn't vote for him. And I was responsible. I was partly responsible for putting him in office. I was part of that crowd. And that's something I'm going to have to live with. And I will. But there are moments like right now where that can be overwhelming.
Sure, the government might bust down my door without a warrant to see if I'm harboring any illegals, but it's a small price to pay if it might hurt people I don't like.
I don't mind if the store shelves will be empty soon. My kids don't need holiday gifts. I'm already giving them the greatest gift I could give them. The emboldening of white supremacists.
People should know it's not patriotic to have tattoos because that means you're in a gang. Unless it's my Confederate flag tattoo. That doesn't count. That's just honoring history.
Sure, he said homegrowns are next, but he obviously only meant violent criminals born here. I only stole from Target in college, so I'm sure that won't get mixed up at all.
We're nothing like 1930s Germany. We just sent 6 women to space. Let's see Hitler top that.
I was just thinking about this last night, but a big reason why Trump won the election is because we just keep fucking fighting with each other. Niggas for Trump have been prepped, ready, and together since 2016, bitch. When Trump lost the election in 2020, it was Trump 2024. All of those 4 years. These bitches would not take their flags down. They would wear the t-shirts, the MAGA hats, the decals on the trucks. Do you think they really cared who was a conservative or a Nazi? You think they were differentiating the real conservatives from the Republicans? No. They were Trump 2024. Now, am I saying in order to enact change, we have to be 100% down behind a politician? No. But what I am saying is maybe we could get a lot more done if we weren't arguing semantics like 95% of the time. I'm pretty sure we all agree with each other. I'm like 1,000% sure that we all agree with each other. We don't have to agree with each other like 100% of the time, but I'm pretty sure all of our morals align just enough to where we could really sit down and get shit done if we weren't fighting with each other all of the time.
MAGA, you really are the most pathetic cult of contradictions where you're all about freedom but can't handle someone being free to exist without fitting into your little box of what's normal. You guys wave your dumb little flags around and scream about liberty while trying to legislate every uterus, every classroom, every bathroom, and every border like it's your own personal police state. You guys claim to be pro-life always while frothing at the mouth to control a woman's body, but then turn right around and cheer when another unarmed black kid gets shot dead by a cop. Where is your precious life then? Oh, that's right. It only matters before birth. After that, they can starve, get shot, or get deported. Just don't ask you to pay a dime in taxes to help them out, right? You pound the Bible to justify your hatred of LGBTQ people as if Jesus ever said a damn thing about who someone loves. But the moment a kid gets shot in school, suddenly your God is silent. Suddenly it's thoughts and prayers, right? Not policies and change. You're all for saving the kids, unless one of those kids are trans, gay, or just trying to exist without your hateful ass breathing down their neck. And let's talk about immigrants. You want them out? Sure. Except for the ones building your houses, cooking your food, or cleaning up after your lazy, entitled bootlicking asses. You scream about law and order, but where's your law and order when McDonald Trump's out here robbing the country blind or making a cryptocurrency where he pockets millions? When he's pardoning criminals, looting the government, and letting his cronies run wild? Oh, that's right also. You don't care because as long as he hates the same people you do, he gets a free pass. You say you love America, but the moment someone wants to learn actual history, you know, the kind that shows how this country was built on the backs of enslaved people and immigrants, you lose your damn mind. You want schools to teach whitewashed fairy tales while banning books that make you feel uncomfortable. You call yourself patriots, but you can't even handle the truth. MAGA, you're not patriots, you're not Christians, you're not even pro-life. You're just a bunch of fragile, angry hypocrites who can't stand the fact that the world is moving on without you.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.
So if anyone is feeling anxious or worried, or even if you just want to chat, please, please do not come crying to me.
The more you regret the thing that you've done, the more uncomfortable it is for you to sit with it, the more likely you are to remember this for next time. Maybe you're finally going to admit to yourself, I was wrong. Maybe you're finally going to admit to yourself, other people were right. Maybe you're going to admit to yourself, I made a huge mistake. I never should have done that. Maybe you will finally admit to yourself, I got taken in. I fell for a con. Maybe also you will admit to yourself that you don't care about anyone or anything unless it directly involves you. Maybe you'll finally admit that all of the people who were fighting for the cushy life that you had been living are the exact people whose lives you voted against. Maybe you'll finally realize how complacent you've become. And maybe you'll finally realize, yeah, you know what? I actually was/am racist. Maybe you'll finally admit that you had been living with bigotry and racism up until that point, or maybe even now still. And maybe you're going to finally realize that what we're all facing now, you included, is not how we want to live. So yes, good. Regret it. Be uncomfortable. Sit with that, because nobody's going to have any sympathy for you. You're going to sit with that all alone, and you're going to have to face some hard truths. And I really, really hope that this experience changes you for the better. Because honestly, if it doesn't, then you kind of truly are a lost cause. Meanwhile, everybody else, what do we get to say? I told you so.
Welcome to America, where the left are militant, violent thugs hell-bent on destroying this country. And at the same time, the left are weak little snowflakes who are easily offended. Where Trump has the border 99% secure, but also we need to suspend habeas corpus because of this invasion at the border. Where transgender people are too strong for sports but too weak for the military. Where asylum seekers and immigrants with work visas are welcomed with open arms as long as they have a lack of melanin. Where it's the government can't tell a business what to do and dictate the free market in a capitalist society. People just need to work harder. But also, thank God the government is telling a business what to do and dictating the free market, because people need relief. Where it's all you have to do is connect the dots of this indisputable, convoluted money laundering trail of the Biden crime family selling the country out to the highest bidder. But also, this $400 million jet from a foreign country is going to save taxpayer money. Art of the deal. Checkmate, libs. Where people who wear MAGA gear head to toe complain about identity politics. Where people who call themselves patriots hate those who are oppressed and love those who are doing the oppressing. Where they are somehow able to lick the boot that is on their neck.
Trump supporter, I vote for Trump. They just got out of the car with the guns in the hands and say, turn off the car. And then he put the handcuffs on me and said, how did I get into this country? And he looked at his other partner like, you know, smiling, like saying, can you believe this guy? At this point, I was with handcuffs sitting on the sidewalk. And then he took my ID and saw that it was a real ID. The other guy said, take the handcuffs off, take the handcuffs off. I was Trump supporter, I voted for Trump last elections, but because I thought it was going to be the things, you know, like just go against criminals, not every illegal Hispanic looking like that they will assume we are illegals.
This guy seems like a nice guy, so I almost feel bad for you. I almost do, but I don't. Because with the privilege of the vote comes the responsibility to know what the fuck you're voting for. I mean, he telegraphed exactly what was going to happen. And they're not done. You got 4 more years in here. He's going to come after you, come after your family, your children, your nieces, your nephews, your parents. This is where you find out. This is where we all find out. How the fuck did you not know?
Donald Trump's MAGA cult members are always bragging how noble Donald Trump is to not take his $400,000 a year salary. What you won't hear them say a peep, though, about is how Donald Trump is taking a $400 million jet from a foreign nation. Make it make sense.
I knew it was going to be hard, and that it wasn't going to come fast. I just wish that things would work out better. I really regret that everything is taking so long because there's so much pushback, because I don't even know the reasons anymore. I don't understand why good things have to be trampled on. I don't know why good people have to be trampled on. I don't want a lot. I just want to be comfortable. I just want to not live paycheck to paycheck. I just want to be able to live and work. I work 7 days a week to not even make ends meet sometimes, and my car broke down, and I have a few $1,000s worth of repairs to do on it. My son's glasses broke, and I can't even take him to the eye doctor. I just want to get past the hard part. I want to get to the part where it's not just crippling. I know he's working on it. I know that it's gonna get better, and that it wouldn't have been any better with anybody else. I just really needed things to start working again.
Hi guys, so right now I just want to know how you guys feel about the whole situation, because I mean, we just saw a clip of a child having to represent himself in court about the migration matter and the deportation matter, and that really made me feel sad. That really touched my heart in, a way. And while all of this is happening, we could laugh at the people who actually voted for Trump, but we forget that there are actually a lot of other people who didn't vote for Trump but are now having to face this, this situation. And yeah, it's just really sad. Do you guys feel for them? Do you guys, wish there was something that could be done about this? Maybe another protest, maybe something, because it really isn't fair to some people, a lot of people actually. So just let me know what you think. Put your comments down in the comment section, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.